Hello everyone, welcome to today's news chatter. Let's begin with the prelims practice question of the day. Today we have a very simple conceptual question from economy, and when it comes to economy, even in your prelims, you can expect questions which are very simple but very intriguing from the conceptual point of view. To take a look at this question, the total value of all finished goods and services that is produced by the citizens of the country, irrespective of their geographical location. That means even if a person is present in some other part of the world, but if he is a citizen of India, his contribution will also be calculated. So GDP cannot be the answer for this. So net national product will also not be the answer. It is gross national product. Very simple and easy. Gross domestic product is the total amount of goods and services produced within the geography of the country. So this particular statement is not matching with GDP. Net national product can never be an answer. Net is an option that comes when we consider the wear and tear also. So net cannot be an answer. Gross national investment can never be an answer because investment is the amount of money that remains as savings with the citizen. So that cannot be an option. So the only remaining one is gross national product. Let's move to the topic of the day. The Committee on Digital Competition Law. Digital competition law is a proposed law which is actually recommended by the Committee on Digital Competition Law. So what this committee did? This committee has been appointed by the Ministry of Corporate Affairs. The name of the committee is Committee on Digital Competition Law. So why did the government come up with this committee? So at present, we have very big tech companies such as Google, Meta is there. So these companies own the entire digital space, the entire internet space, cloud services, everything has been owned by them. So even businesses depend on these services. Daily regular customers depend on these services. Consumers depend on these services for their day-to-day survival. So in such a context, we need some kind of regulation so that these big players do not manipulate the market, do not manipulate the entire economic landscape, and do not try to suppress any new ventures. A capital market, a good capital system is where multiple competition is there and different people are able to come and join the force. So if these players are dominating the entire space, then it will become very difficult for other players to come and start a business. So that is the reason the European Union came up with a digital market law. The European Union digital law is there. In the same way, India also should come up with a new law. That is what this particular committee has recommended. Committee on Digital Competition Law. To prevent anti-competitive practices by big tech company, they have recommended a legislation to regulate the market power of big tech firms such as Google and Meta. So they have just given a recommendation. It is for the government to come up with a new law to regulate these big tech companies. There is a need. The committee specifically told that we need a ex ante legislation. What is a ex ante legislation? A legislation which will make sure that a mistake is not done. At present, we do have the Competition Act of India, but the Competition Act will come into play only after something has been done. So once the companies do something which is against the Competition Act, then someone will make a complaint and it will take care of it. But the damage is already done. So what the committee is recommending is that you come up with a law which will ensure that a problem doesn't happen in the first place. So that's what the recommendation of Committee on Digital Competition Law is. The firms with significant presence in the market for a core digital service will be termed as systemically significant digital enterprises. So what the committee told us, let us start a classification. The name of the classification will be systemically significant digital enterprises. So these companies such as Google and Meta can be classified under systemically significant digital enterprises. So how will they classify it? The government will make certain regulations and will send to all the companies. It will be self-assessment. So the companies can themselves self-assess and find out whether they can be declared under systemically significant digital enterprises. If a company which is satisfying all the requirement and if they are uh, not declaring themselves as systemically significant digital enterprise, then the government will have a fine on these companies, and the fine will be based on the global turnover of the company. Around 10% of something has been recommended. But the most important point here is we need a law which is ex ante in nature, and we are going to classify the companies as systemically significant digital enterprises. The name of the committee which recommended all this thing is Committee on Digital Competition Law. Very important, take a note of it. India has become the top defense importer. Who told this? SIPRI, that is Stockholm International Peace Research Institute. They have told that India's defense import have gone up by 4.7%. So nearly 5% increase it has happened. So in the last 4 years or 5 years, 2019 to 2023, India was the top arms importer. Russia remained India's main arms supplier, but its proportion has declined. 36% we have purchased from Russia. But in the recent times, the government has been trying to promote India as a defense exporter. So the government came to a conclusion that we cannot keep depending on countries such as Russia, USA, or France, Germany, etc. forever. We need to manufacture our own arms and artilleries. So we have come up with multiple schemes, especially in 2023-24 budget. It has been told that the funds will be divided into two proportions. That is, 67.75 percentage will be for domestic purchase and 32.25 percentage will be for foreign procurement when it comes to capital acquisition. This point is extremely important. You can mention this point in your answer when it comes to mains. In 2023-2024, the entire defense capital acquisition budget has been divided into two. 67.75 percentage will be for capital acquisition within India, that is domestic. Then the remaining 37.25 percentage, I'm sorry, 32.25 percentage will be for capital acquisition from foreign countries. So these things should be noted down. When we talk about defense manufacturing or promoting India's defense manufacturing, we need to take care of certain important schemes. We have to remember these schemes for your mains examination. One such scheme is Defense Acquisition Procedure DAP 2020. Then we have Technology Development Fund and IDETS, that is Innovation for Defense Excellence Project. So these three projects, try to remember very well. For mains, you can mention these points in your answer. Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020 is the most important. In this, we have told that whenever the Army or Navy or Air Force, any of the military is trying to import or I'm sorry, if they are trying to buy defense products, we will have a classification called by indigenously designed, developed, and manufactured, IDDM. Indigenously designed, that means a company, a Indian company, designing the product, developing it indigenously, and manufacturing in India. So these products should be given the priority, and second priority will be for by Indian category. So Indian company maybe if they have manufactured in India, or they could have bought it from outside and is selling to the army, whatever it is, that comes under by Indian category. Two important categories: indigenously designed, developed, and manufactured, IDDM. So this category should be given importance, and second importance is for by Indian category. This comes under Defense Acquisition Procedure 2020. First point, very important. Second one, technology development fund. So the government has come up with a fund to support indigenous development. So if a MSME or startup want to promote itself as a defense manufacturing company, then the technology development fund will help for that. Technology development fund is going to fund these new ventures or companies. Innovations for defense excellence, IDEX. Innovation for defense excellence, it is for engaging industries such as MSME, startup, individual innovators, R&D institutes, etc. by providing fund for them. So innovation for defense excellence, IDEX, and technology development fund, TDF. Both of these funds are for funding the MSMEs or funding any individual who is manufacturing or certain companies which are indigenous in nature. Development cum production partner is a model developed by DRDO. Development cum production partner is an industry that is taken up as DCPP in development project. That means DRDO will align itself with a individual industry, and this industry will be classified as development cum production partner. So the DRDO can partner with individual companies also. Apart from this, very important point is the central government is going to develop two industrial corridors, one in Uttar Pradesh and second one in Tamil Nadu. So these points are extremely important for your mains examination. Take a note of it. About sub-classification of SC and ST. So the scheduled tribe and scheduled caste have been classified already. The president is the person who will notify the list of groups who can be considered as scheduled caste and the list of groups who can be considered as scheduled tribe. It is mentioned in Article 341, 342. Right. Now, the question is, can the state government classify certain groups within the scheduled caste as most backward? For example, let's say there is a state where 20 scheduled caste groups are there and total reservation is provided for all the 20 groups. And if the state identifies that 5 groups among these 20 are extremely backward, then can the state classify them separately and give them some priority in reservation? So this is the question. Now, this case is sub judice, so we cannot tell anything until this case ends. State of Punjab versus Davinder Singh. 7-judge bench is taking care of it. The judgment will come soon. But why have I included this here is because these two judgments are very important, and if you are getting a question in mains, you can mention these judgments. First one, E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh. In this, the Supreme Court quashed a act. The name of the act is Andhra Pradesh Scheduled Caste Rationalization of Reservation Act, passed in 2000. The Supreme Court told that you cannot classify any scheduled caste or scheduled tribe within the list because according to Article 341, it is for the president to notify SC and ST. So in this case, E.V. Chinnaya versus State of Andhra Pradesh, the Supreme Court clearly told that state governments cannot subcategorize scheduled caste or scheduled tribe. In Indira Savani versus Union of India, the Supreme Court told that subclassification within socially and educationally backward classes for services under the government is permissible. But we do not know whether this can be applicable for SC or ST because they have mentioned about socially and educationally backward classes. So there are multiple interpretations for this. Let the Supreme Court come up with a conclusion in State of Punjab versus Davinder Singh. But take a note of these two statements, these two cases, so that you can mention in your answers, and only when you mention these kind of things in your answer, you will end up getting good marks. Mains practice question of the day, whatever we have discussed already, that is what is given here. You can practice this question. In the context of India becoming the top defense importer, examine the scope of India to become defense self-sufficient country. Apart from whatever we have discussed, you can also mention that India has been exporting its arms to Philippines and Vietnam and several other countries also. We have told that we will provide cruise missiles to Vietnam. So this is a first step to promote India as a defense exporting country. Prelims point of view, this particular topic is very important. Certain important points you need to note down. That's it. Hello India Youth Hello India Youth Games was held in January, February. This is the sixth edition. One important fact, it happened in Tamil Nadu. Second important fact, it did not happen in one city, it happened in four different cities: Chennai, Tiruchi, Madurai, and Coimbatore, in four different sections of the state, four different directions of the state. So these points are very important for prelims. Apart from that, what is this games? The games are multidisciplinary sports competition for school as well as college students. If they give a statement that it's only for school students, it is not correct. It's for school and college students. Every year it is held annually. It is held in two categories: one, under 17, and second, under 21. This year's mascot was Veera Mangai. Veera Mangai is a tribute to Rani Velu Nachiyar. Rani Velu Nachiyar was a queen of Tamil Nadu who rose against the British, rose against the British during the Indian freedom struggle. So these are all the basic points you need to note down so that you can answer a question if they are asking about Halo India Youth Games. So that will be all for today. All the best. Study well. Let's meet tomorrow.